Right. So, Robin, as you keep going forward with your music career, what inspires you?
Um, that's a good question, and it's hard to say what inspires me, really. I haven't written a song in a while, so maybe a year. Okay. Um, I should have been writing during COVID, but I didn't. Um, Things inspire me, like why do we have two eyes? You know, what's the reason for all this? That kind of stuff. Or what inspires you? I don't know. Like a nice day. Oh, I get a lot of inspiration from like um, things going wrong. You know, I think that's why I wrote that song, because you know, if you run, then it's just going to come back. But I do get inspiration. I used to get inspiration from relationships, obviously, and probably still do. Oh yeah, I did. I do, because I wrote a song about. Oh, I wrote a song about Trumpy.
Yes,
Yeah,
you did.
yeah. Forgot about that one. That was a. He's inspiring, in a weird way, you know.
But does that go to the? I mean, we talked about trauma as being an inspiration, but this is a
Okay.
different kind of a thing, right?
Yeah, but your trauma is an inspiration to get it out if you have the right support. Because so many people have had trauma and they just, you know, sink with it and gets all fettered.
How do you, as a musician, face those moments of not having support or feeling like
I
why am I
cry
doing
and
this?
cry and cry. Um, I try to laugh, but it just never happens. Um, how do I just go out and walk and look at the beautiful stuff, you know, like the simple life.
Did you
Simple things mean everything, said my friend Parthenon Huxley in one of his songs.
did you ever have these huge moments of like self-doubt that you weren't going to make it as a musician, that you couldn't do this, or did that just
Of
never
course.
occur? And how do you fight that? Just the
Oh,
walks?
I know it. I just kept going. I didn't pay attention to my bad thoughts back then, when I was younger. The bad thoughts, they didn't come that much until I had a psychotic break. But then they weren't even thoughts. I was just kind of like, what? Why are the walls opening? Why am I sinking into this bed? You know, I thought H.P. Lovecraft was around, but we're getting off the subject. Yeah, I just kept going because I wanted it. I was obsessed. OCD, that's what it's called.
OCD.
OCD, which stands for.
Hey, Vasowski's not happy.
Okay, that's okay.
But who influenced your work, do you think? If you were going to say the greatest inspiration or influence on you for your work,
Probably Neil Young and Stephen Stills.
really?
Well, because they were up close and personal. You know, they weren't just records. But Bert Jansch, which I've said before, was big inspiration.
Is it weird to be like inspired by a contemporary like Neil and someone that you knew so well in a way, or is it?
No, I never thought about that. Is it weird? Is it weird to me now?
Yeah,
No.
because the people ask you, right, have you had contact with Neil? And we covered this yesterday,
Right.
very little, but it seems to be kind of part of your rock and roll story.
Okay, so Neil was an inspiration because he wrote songs. Stephen Stills, same thing. They wrote songs. Wow, I want to do that. And then Tim Hardin. I told you that story about Tim Hardin.
I don't recall. Go ahead, say it again.
Well, it's kind of a long story, but okay, I'm going to tell the story. It kind of is off track, but I used to go into Hollywood all the time from the valley. You know, you take the long 3 miles into to Hollywood and go to Ciro's and different clubs. The Birds were playing. It was so much fun. Sorry, but so there was this drunk dude that always came up to me and wanted to dance, and he was a really good dancer. So I danced with him, but he was always drunk and he was always after me, you know. And I think I was 18, Um, and then about a year later, I was with some other friends that sold drugs, and they were going to look for drugs up in the hills above Sunset. And we got there, parked the car, opened the door, and I heard this music wafting down from this house. And wow, I just was like mesmerized. I swear to God, I was like, and I just followed the music into the house, because that's where we were going anyway. And went into a room, and there was that dude from the clubs, you know, that was always drunk. And he was sitting there playing the most beautiful music with the most beautiful voice. Now that struck me. Tim Harden. You don't know him, right? How can you hang on to a dream? He was wonderful. If I were a carpenter and you were a lady. You know that song?
I don't know.
Oh, you're so young. You're like a youngin' or something. Anyway, so he struck me, and then another time when I went with, I knew Donovan for a while, and we went over to visit Jackie.
What's Donovan like?
Donovan. Nice. He didn't like American food so much. Well, he didn't like our salads because, this is so silly, because we put too much dressing on them. And he was kind of right?
Uh-huh.
Anyway, so we went to this motel, and Jackie DeShannon was there. Do you know who she is? Okay, Jackie DeShannon. Every time did she write that one? Anyway, look her up. She was the greatest. And I sat down, plopped down in front of her, and she was playing a song that the Byrds did. Don't doubt yourself, girl. Let what's inside be your guide. You know darn well everything. You know that song?
Yeah.
Okay. And other songs. So she was playing one of them, and I went, there we go. That, and I knew I had to write songs.
That's a
And
great
since
story.
my father was a songwriter, I didn't have any doubts that I could do it. I just had never done it. And it took me a couple more years to be able to start writing.
Is that formula the same formula you still use? Like, what inspired Dirt Road to Heaven?
Danny Hillis.
Explain.
Danny Hillis came up with that line, Dirt Road to Heaven. He's famous in another way.
And
Started parallel processing and whatnot. And, yeah.
and then you just decided to build a song around the line,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful song.
He had another one that I'm still kind of working on. I Love You More Than All the Songs in Nashville.
Robin, if you had to do things over, what things would you do over?
I'd get a manager that liked me and thought I was okay even if I had a baby, and that I was always going to just keep doing music forever and ever and ever, and he'd stick with me, you know, and watch me grow. But I would have had to have been smarter, and I wasn't smart then so much, just did what I did. But if I had my brain now, I could rule the world. But you know, they like young chicks and young guys. And you kind of need to be young because those people in the entertainment business want to mold you. And I was not moldable.
But you came
Moldable? Wait. Moldable? Malleable?
malleable.
Okay.
But you also came of at a time when everyone thought like 50-year-old rockers wouldn't happen, right? But, you know, because I remember being a kid.
Oh no, you didn't want to go past 30.
Yes, that rock and roll. I remember actually being told as a kid that, you know, there's no such thing as a 40-year-old rocker, right?
Really? You heard
Oh
that?
yeah, like, you know, rock and roll is just for young people.
I know my friend
And then
was-
Keith Richards lives to 300 years old and changes the whole thing, right?
And he can do anything he wants.
But in a sense, you were kind of victimized by the thoughts of the times, you know, that a woman
No.
couldn't have a baby and be a professional rock star.
Well, you could hardly be a woman and be a rock star, or do that in the business. It was all guys, and then a few.
Do you
some
think
women.
that were you ever, like you talked about people hitting on you? Were you ever put in a situation where you were felt like you had to do something to get somewhere?
Like with Harvey Weinstein? No. I don't remember if I was. And it probably would have gone past my head. I just swear to God, I was so focused on music and my songwriting, that I didn't even know what things were happening around me.
What makes you happy, Robin?
That's an amazing question. Talking to you, having really good conversations with people, great conversations, laughing a lot, being with people that make me laugh hysterically. Those are pretty, I have a lot of things, like swimming in a river, even swimming in the ocean, although I'm always looking out for, bum, 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 bum. And, oh God, so much. Being in my garden.
And do you have enough, do you find yourself like, having enough time to enjoy all those things now in your life?
Not enough.
Not enough.
Because right now, it's not, I have to really work hard to get something happening now, I think. And either find the right people or get my brain in gear to know how to do social media.
Would you have, when Neil sang that rock and roll would ever die, do you have anything to amend that with? Because it's kind of tough to be a rock and roller now, isn't it?
Yeah, but he already started, So I think I'm still doing that, but I'm doing it in a limited way, like not in big arenas or anything, but I get to play. What was the question?
It's more about what's happened to rock and roll.
Well, it's just, it never dies. It just keeps going, changing form a little bit, but all the real true people that do music, the rockers or the more into more folky or whatever these people that I met out in LA were doing, just beautiful music now these days. And then there's the whole rocker thing. I think you have to have had some connection back in the day, or else have good managers, or you're the good manager, like Madonna.
Do you like Madonna?
Oh, sure.
You like Pink?
Yeah, I haven't watched her movie yet, but yeah, she's a great singer.
Tell me some more female singers that you admire.
Nina Simone. I'm just totally in love with PJ Harvey. I can't.
What an amazing transformation, huh?
What, her? Yeah. From the get-go to.
It's just unrecognizable.
I know. I just watched an interview by her when in the early '90s, and it was like, she's really shy, really sweet, to me, she kind of seems like a David Bowie, female David Bowie, because she has so many different kinds of music that she does. She's like, I don't know, amazing. Who else? Oh God, this woman I just saw in Austin City Limits, but I can't remember her name.
There's a lot more now than when you were playing, huh?
Yeah. Let's see, who was out then? Blondie and Chrissy Hynde.
Pat Benatar. And you.
Pat Benatar. I was kind of used to laugh at Pat Benatar because she was so commercial and did those kind of songs that were so regular, but she was great. Oh, I know. It's because I went to see her one time and she was doing cabaret. This was like before she got going, but I was doing folky singer-songwriting stuff.
And you both are in history as the first two women on MTV.
Yeah, no, she's good. She's really good. They write hit songs, she and her husband. So
yeah, it's amazing.
She's got a great voice.
But at that time, there were 4 or 5 of you, right, in rock and roll, and now there's the whole